everyone, and welcome to another Tinfoil Tuesday. How's everyone doing? Hope you're having a good end or beginning to your week, middle to your week, almost. Geez, my brain is fried today. How's it going? As you can see, I am in the pocket of NASA today, so that's nice. Y'all chose the tinfoil outfit today, so that's what we're going with. We are getting closer to the, we're on day, I think, 22 or so of costume month. We did get a winner for the new costume. It's Lady Spock. Lady Spock is the new costume. I'll order that post-haste. We are getting close to the end of this costume month, so tips towards that. That way, I'll wear silly outfits or whatever. It's also still September, so subscriptions are 30% off. All right, that's the end to my self-promotion. How's everyone doing? I'm ready for some tinfoil today. We have some fun stuff. We are playing bingo, so make sure you get your bingo cards ready if that's something you want to do. So yeah, let's get into it.
Friends, so welcome.
This is a video that someone posted to the Tinfoil channel on the Discord. This is the title video. I normally wait, but it looked interesting. This is someone channeling Pleiadians.
Hello, my friends. So welcome, all of you. Almost 113,000 starseeds, lightworkers, and wanderers to this magical session. And today I have channeled the Pleiadians to ask about very interesting questions, many of which were...
This channel has 112,000 subscribers, by the way. He was rounding up. But this is a relatively viewed channel. This has 26,000 views.
...sent by yourself. And firstly, I have asked about what is the truth about an image which recently was circulating around the internet about a person who had supposedly caught a Bigfoot image while...
We're asking the aliens about Bigfoot? Is that their purview? I don't know about that. Are the aliens tracking the Sasquatch?
The person was in...
NB Vulpine, thanks for a 3-stream streak.
...a cabin while he was on some kind of vacation or something. So
believes they speak to aliens regularly on the bingo card, by the way.
This image was caught in the person's camera. So I have asked about the truth behind the image, and also I have asked in the session, someone asked me about the famous people, right? Many of the famous people like Taylor Swift, even some rappers, they are perceived to have become famous, because they have sold their soul to the devil. So I've asked about this concept of selling the soul to the devil, and how does it work, and what are the consequences that will happen. I
feel like the aliens would be like, what's the devil?
We
don't share the same cultural touchstones as you do. Please explain what devil is.
In this session, also the Pleiadians have answered about what is the truth of 1111 portal, and how can we access the energies, and how can we use it, and also what is the...
I think we've all been asking about the 1111 portal, which I definitely know what that means.
Truth behind...
And not just a weird thing he said.
...behind the positively oriented Orions, if they exist, are they members of the Galactic Federation or the Council of Nine, has been revealed, and it is absolutely mind-blowing and amazing. And with that being said, before the session begins, I want to say a big thank you to all of you who have joined on my Patreon, because recently I released some...
That reminds me, we're doing a patron and member-only live stream tomorrow, so make sure you join the Patreon or become a member on YouTube if you want to be a part of that.
...new channeling sessions which I have not shared on YouTube, and also...
What is the Council of Nine? It was preceded by the Council of 8, and superseded by the Council of 10.
There are many...
Is he AI? No, this is a real guy.
...censored sessions which I cannot share on YouTube, so I share almost 3 new channeling sessions on my Patreon channel, and also we do meditations. So Looking Glass meditation is coming up soon, and we will do that on my Patreon. And I want to say a big thank you to all of you who have joined, and also a big thank you to all of you who have liked this...
Italian Shakespeare. Maybe I'll add evil beard to the... No! That's a funny bit for 5 seconds, and then I would feel incredibly dysphoric wearing a fake beard, so no.
...video with your heart, because your like is a service to others, and your like will ultimately return back to you in some way, shape, or form. With that being said, enjoy the session, my friends.
Alright, here's the good part. This is where he channels the alien Bittergrin with 100 bits says, wait, it's the 1111 portal, so I've been climbing into the beer fridges at 7-Eleven for nothing? I mean, unless you got beer, that'd be for something, I guess.
We are the Pleiadians now in communications through these instruments in our hearts, and we as the Pleiadians shall now address and answer the queries which are presented today.
Welcome to the world of tomorrow! Hydrate, I can do that. Jeff covers him? That makes sense. That tracks. That's his alien voice.
Through these instruments in our vibratory system. However, we recommend the peoples of your planet to only accept those thoughts which resonate deeply within the inner heart. Furthermore, with regards to the query about the so-called photograph of a supposed Bigfoot, we must state that the understanding of the image as presented is such that in the infinite cycles of creation there is various entities which exist on different vibratory planes.
Ooh, different planes exist, or different dimensions other than our own on the bingo card.
The entity known as Bigfoot is one such entity from a plane not native to your current third density reality. Furthermore, this—
No, I don't think it's slowed down. I think he's just doing a voice.
entity—
No, this isn't vibes based.
hail—
He's didn't you listen? He's channeling an alien. Obviously. Those aren't vibes.
from a vibratory condition slightly removed from that of the human experience. It is, in essence, an observer of certain energetic vortices and closely aligned with the earth consciousness. As for the image itself, what has been perceived is not a fully materialized third density entity, but rather an impression or manifestation the being has chosen not to fully integrate into its density, which is why there is a blur or a lack of complete physical
clarity. All of these things might affect you in the future. He sounds like Kurzweil.
In the image. This reflects the entity's ability to phase in and out of the third density at will, remaining largely unseen unless it chooses to reveal itself, often in response to those who hold certain vibratory harmonics in their seeking. This image, indeed a fleeting glimpse, a reflection of the observer's interaction with an entity of a higher density. The veil that separates your densities is thinning, and more such occurrences will become visible as the Earth moves through its transition into the fourth density.
By the way, I should explain the density thing. A lot of conspiratorial thinking is based upon making metaphors literal and using metaphors to explain a feeling they have. When he says density, they're talking about different dimensions, like different planes of existence that stack on top of each other. And if you remember back to like middle or high school physics when they explained the density of different like liquids makes them, you know, appear in different like strata, basically. That's what he's referencing. In the same way that if you put like oil and water and different like fluids, they'll kind of like separate out. That's what they're talking about. They're trying to explain other planes of existence by claiming they have different densities, and that's why they're stacked on top of each other. There you go. 4 on a hype train. Overthought with 100 bits says, "Hello, Earthlings. I am a super advanced being. That's why I have chosen this mortal vessel to communicate on his back. This is the proper method. Please do not see this as grifting. Nanu, Nanu." Moira Soma, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Barely Breathing with 100 bits says, your knowledge of nonsense is amazing. Thank you. Moira Soma, thanks for tier 2 at 41 months, 19% to level 3 on the hype train. Yes, fluids! Jesus Christ, you people are children! You're children!
Encourage each entity to approach such phenomena with curiosity and reverence for these entities, though appearing strange too. Your eye complexes are also children of the one infinite creator, serving their purpose within the grand design of the universal harmony.
I'm sorry, just the fact that he took the time to, like, insert a picture of Bigfoot eating soup. I don't know. It's good. I'm glad Bigfoot's staying warm out there. Nice. Beatrice, with 100 bits says, "I love the idea Bigfoot is a single entity. There's just one of him, John Bigfoot."
Harmony. Furthermore, we shall now address and answer the other aspects of the query regarding the understanding about the aspects of realization of how does selling the soul to the devil work, as many of the supposed entities upon your planet who achieve fame and success have done it. Further, we the Pleiadians must firstly state that within the understanding of the universal complex, the concept of selling one's soul to the devil can be seen as a metaphor for a choice in consciousness rather than a literal transition. Furthermore, every entity has free will, which is—
Reminder that this guy's channel has over 100,000 subscribers. He probably makes more money than you. Just putting it out there, in case you want to feel real depressed.
the cornerstone of spiritual evolution. The choice to align with what your peoples term as negative or service to self pathway involves a dedication
not close, Jay's a proxy. You would know if I was dying of laughter.
Separation, control over other entities, and personal power.
I wasn't expecting him to sound like Jeff the robot.
We should consider
Wait, what is this one from?
giving you a name.
I would like that very much.
Can't play any more than that, that's for sure. Where did he go?
At the expense of unity,
Minute and a half left on the hype train.
love and light. Further, in our understanding, there isn't a singular entity known as the so-called devil, but rather a symbolic representation of the negative polarity. This polarity seeks to enhance the self through power, manipulation, and control, which is opposite to the service to others pathway, where an entity seeks unity, love, and light.
Nemesaur, thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs and getting us over level 4 of the hype train.
Furthermore, when an individual entities are said to sell their soul, metaphorically, they are choosing to pursue a path where personal gain, fame, power, or material wealth is prioritized, without spiritual growth, love, or welfare of other entities.
Why does the font on that look like a font with, it looks like a D&D font?
Furthermore, there may be many occasions when these entities will be approached by the negatively oriented entities such as the Orions, negatively polarized
Goddamn Orions.
social memory complexes, or the reptilian negatively polarized
Reptilians on the bingo card.
social memory complexes. Further, within the understanding, choosing the path of service to self to an extreme degree can also lead to a delay or detour in spiritual evolution. The soul complex's journey towards unity with the one infinite creator is prolonged as the entity must eventually balance these choices with experiences of love and
Remember when we were talking about Bigfoot? He's a proxy. Thanks for 45 stream streak says, in the voice of Bernie, I am once again using a streak message to promote Meads v Meads for Sobsit Day. I would post it during Sobsit Day, but today is my streak. I know, I'm sorry.
unity. Furthermore, actions taken under this alignments can generate karma, requiring future experiences to understand the impacts of an entity's actions on others, thereby learning the lessons of compassion and unity. The path of service to self leads to a profound sense of isolation. Since the core of this path is separation, the entity might achieve material success but at the cost of true connection
Yeah, word salad.
with other entities. Furthermore, all pathways eventually lead back to the one infinite creator. However, those deeply entrenched in negative polarity will need to face a more intense realization of the illusion of separation. This can be challenging as the entity must then work through the layers of the ego mind and control which they have built up. Furthermore, all entities must remember that all beings are on a journey back to the Creator, and we encourage all entities to seek the path of light and love. For this path leads to joy, fulfillment, and the quickest return to the unity of the one infinite Creator.
Why does the alien talk kind of like a robot? My first channel, thanks for 9 months, says, why is he blindfolded? To better facilitate the transference of alien quantum consciousness into his pineal gland without leaking 5D energy from his corneas. This sub-baby's name is going to be Pleiadian Commander Zork.
With regards to the other query
Minute left in the hype train.
about what is the truth behind 1111 portal, firstly, the 1111 portal as perceived in your spiritual understanding is not a physical gateway in the sense of a location or a traditional portal through which an entity may pass from one realm to another. Instead, it represents a symbolic and energetic threshold. Furthermore, we must state that the number 1111 is considered a master number as it resonates with the vibrations of spiritual awakening, enlightenment. Furthermore, when this number is doubled as in 1111, its influence will
you for the hype train,
amplify
everyone.
this
Okay. He's just gonna talk about 1111.
of the galactic
And use AI images. Uses AI on the bingo card.
Federation or the Council of Nine have had interaction.
Learned that the image of the Bigfoot, so my
Let's
friends,
wrap up.
from the session, I basically learned that the image of the Bigfoot, actually was an image of the Bigfoot. But what they said, what the Pleiadians said was that, the Bigfoot, was not fully integrated into the third density, and the Bigfoot looks a little bit hazy. and they said that, it was because the Bigfoot did not fully manifest into the third density. So that's what I understood. And also,
I wish I could not manifest in the third density.
About the selling the soul to the devil, what they said was that, basically, whenever someone aligns towards service to self, negative polarity automatically has an influence on it. And many of them, they have contracts with, Orions, with reptilians and other entities. And that's what they said in the channeling session.
And if there's any reptilians listening, I am fully open to making any sort of contract with you. We're just gonna do it. We're gonna get scaly. It's gonna be weird.
Also, with regards to the other query about the understanding of the positively oriented Orion entities, they do not form the part of the Galactic Federation, which was clarified by the Pleiadians. So I hope you learned a lot. And also I want to say a big thank you to all of you who have sent me an email for your own past life, your soul journey, your soul's identity, and any other questions which you may have. I will channel for you. You can send an email on the email shown in the screen, or also which is mentioned in the description. Also a big thank you to all of you who actually subscribe to the channel, because it helps more than you know, to move forward in this journey. So thank you all for that. And also thank you for downloading the free PDF of the transcripts of the sessions, which can be found on the description. And also thank you to all of you for visiting my website as well. If you want to search for any transcripts and read it, it's fun and easy. You can visit my website. With that being said, I'll see you in the next session, my friends. Until then, enjoy this session over here.
So I did save this guy too, so we will get to watch some of his other stuff in the future, but very strange. Very strange. Alright, I think he did enough that we can take a quick look at the bingo card. Let's pull that up real quick. Is selling your soul to the devil considered satanic? Yes, sure. Uses AI. Believes they speak with aliens regularly. Believes sci-fi technology exists. Dimension beyond our own. Word salad. Satanic. Reptilians. You're good, Ashley. Is there anything else? Is that it? Maybe it. I think that's it. Cool beans. Easy one. Who do we want to check in on? Oh, here's an interesting one. This is one of those people that think that airplane fuel, that jet fuel, doesn't exist. Oh, reincarnation at the end. Reincarnation on the bingo card. This is one of the people that thinks jet fuel doesn't exist and that planes run on, like, magic ether energy. And here he is at some kind of airplane museum.
Here today, in a place called Maps Air Museum. And we're going to take a look at some of these aircrafts and examine the idea and concept that they supposedly use liquid fuel and store them in the wings. A 747 can hold up to, they say, average about 50,000 gallons.
John Doyle will be debating destiny at Penn State. Oh, that's going to be a shit show. I don't like Destiny for a lot of reasons, but he's certainly a better debater than John Doyle, so that's not going to go well for John.
It's almost an Olympic-size swimming pool in the wings.
This is the first time you've heard of this jet fuel conspiracy? Yeah. This is an interesting one, because these are the kind of people that would say jet fuel can't melt steel beams because jet fuel doesn't exist.
My theory is that they're actually just using the turbines pulling
And what do you think fuels the turbines?
free energy, free air right into the turbine, combusting it, turning it into a gas, and using the air as fuel. No liquid fuel needed, except for takeoff and landing. So the general narrative is, like you said, the intake, the compression, the combustion, thrust. And I do think these older turbines used liquid fuel to some extent. I don't think the amount that they say they do, or did, but I think the older models were based off of more fuel than the modern day turbine, which I believe is just pulling air in, compressing it.
How do you... It takes fuel to compress the air. The turbine takes fuel to spin and create the thrust. Does he not get it? Does he not understand? Yes, air is a part of it, but the air needs to be compressed and shot out the back of the turbine.
And I think these make a certain tone and sound that give the turbine a certain kind of bumblebee effect vibration that helps
A bumblebee effect.
cause the lift of the plane, puts the plane into
Does he understand that a bumblebee also creates thrust using energy?
a frequency that makes it weightless for the most part. But it's taking that air in, going through this old world technology, in my opinion, that we inherited. And I think we have a free energy engine that we're using in the world right now. And everybody's being charged for fuel when they're not using it. They're just pulling the air in.
Okay, again though, how do you think they're pulling the air in? It takes energy to make the turbine spin, which is the part that makes the air go vroom. It would be like saying, God, I'm trying to think of what would be the comparison. It would be like saying, you don't need fuel to make a car go. The tires turn, and the turning of the tires is what makes the car go. So you don't need fuel. Like, yeah, but what do you think makes the tires turn? Like,
combusting it, and as they combust that, as the air comes in and gets compressed, combusted into a free energy from air fuel.
But it's not free. There's no such thing as free energy, by definition. Ashley One Up says, according to Google, a car engine uses a 2-to-1 ratio of air to fuel to make the engine go. I imagine it's much higher air to jet fuel ratio. I have no idea.
And I think that's how the modern day ones are working. And definitely staged, because if turbines don't use liquid fuel, then there was no fuel to burn that day. That was all staged, because those planes don't have any liquid fuel in them. And when I say no, none, I mean maybe a little bit for takeoff and a little bit for landing. But the modern day turbine is a free energy engine left over from the old world, the technology left over from the old world, which I think what a lot of World War II was about. And who was going to be allowed to have the technology, who wasn't, who was trying to keep it. Because I think...
Boy, that makes me consider what he thinks World War II wasn't about. Hint, hint. Ashley One Up says, you know a little about a lot of things. Have you ever thought about writing a book? If yes, what would you love to write a book about? I've thought about it, but I'm too disorganized and too ADHD and unmedicated. I'm not using that as a silly personality quirk. I genuinely am diagnosed with ADHD, and I'm not with medication, and I'm completely non-functional, so I could never do it. But if I did, I'd want to write about why people believe conspiracy theories, probably. Just like a general book about what they believe and why. Trey says, trust me, if jets were a scam, Gerald Bull would have done everything and anything to expose that, and then there's a scream, to the 3 people who got that reference. Hi, how are you today?
A lot of that old world technology came out of certain places that certain people might have wanted to keep all to themselves.
I don't have medication anymore? No, I haven't had insurance for many, many months.
And other countries went to get it.
That would ignite it and cause a thrust. And these are the power turbines. That would power everything that went on in the front.
And I missed the part about the combustion
chamber. They spread jetting fuel.
Rayline says clearly not because in your conspiracy, they still need fuel to start, so not free energy, even in your own conspiracy.
And the compressed air.
So both of those?
It would combust.
Okay, and that
And
would
it causes a vortex and a thrust that powers this power turbine. Works the
This power turbine, it's almost like it uses some kind of power.
drive shaft that moves everything in the front. So it's like a...
How is he allowed that close? This isn't a real, I mean, I'm sure there's real parts in it, but this is like a display piece. This is demonstrating how it works. Like, the part that has the combustion is literally just a light in this. It's not like a full functioning real engine. This is like a model. Yeah, it's like a museum piece.
And then this is the thrust that would come out the back. And then some engines had afterburners where they would spray raw fuel into that flame and the thrust, and it would just explode, almost like a ramjet, like a rocket.
And so when the air is coming in through here, these are
I do have good RX now. I have a doctor's appointment scheduled to try and get stuff dealt with, and also open enrollment is soon-ish for the healthcare marketplace, so I'm gonna deal with that. But that's whatever. Mosslaw, thanks for 10 months, says, OMG, let's go, I'm so pumped. Last day homesick, gonna cuddle up on the couch with my knitting. Oh. I hope the knitting goes well.
And are these, like, almost work as, like, tuning forks, kind of?
No.
Is that...
I like that he said no. It's like tuning forks? No. What? Where did you get tuning forks? What are you talking about?
And are these, like, almost work as, like, tuning forks, kind of?
No.
Is that...
No! Part of the turbine! What are you talking about?
Is that what we hear when we hear the turbine? Is that what we're hearing? Are these?
I don't know, sir. I don't know what makes the whining sound. It's manufactured. That's our homework assignment for tonight. I don't know if these actually make the whining sound. That's a good question. I would say it probably does. And then,
So that's the air intake,
the power turbines. And
combustion.
These were used in the A4, that A4 Skyhawk right there.
I feel bad for this museum guy who probably has a genuine interest in the mechanics of like airplanes, and he's excited to, it's his job, and he's like, oh, yeah, I'll tell you all about these like old engines. And he has no idea that this guy has no interest in learning actual facts. He's just here to make a point on his YouTube channel. Or tour guide. Ashley One Up says, I just googled it. The air-to-fuel ratio in a jet engine is 50-1 to 130-1.
FAE 400 Street had this. The F-11 Tiger used one of these. The two-engine medium bomber, the 100 pounds of fuel an hour.
These used 100?
Which was 16 gallons. Without the afterburner. Because when you hit the afterburner, these things just...
Why would a jet engine have a tuning fork in it? He thinks that because he thinks it isn't using jet fuel. He thinks jet fuel isn't real. He thinks that these are like Tartarian ancient machines that use like vibration technology to interact with the luminiferous aether. A bunch of bullshit, basically.
You're just dumping raw fuel, and it really sucks.
Where would they store the fuel in the plane?
Well, if you look underneath the wing, it has extra fuel tanks. Plus, they would have PC-135s, and they would refuel in the air. The tankers in Vietnam, the tankers were always close by. They would either go across the Mekong Delta into Thailand.
So
Not the Delta, the Mekong River.
Is that the only place they would store the fuel? What about the wings? Because I know, like the 7...
Yeah, they had their fuel tanks in the fuselage and in the wings, but that was extra fuel on the drop tanks.
A lot of people don't know that, even your 747 stores all of its fuel in the wings.
Yeah, they do.
That's a lot of, 50,000 gallons. And the narrative that the wings store that much liquid.
The narrative, the reality.
In them. Sloshing around.
Does anyone else have recurring nightmares where they're on an airplane and it crashes? That shit sucks.
As they're trying to maneuver, especially the...
and you wake up just as it's hitting the ground, and you're like, ah!
Fighter jets in the military. I believe 0 liquid fuel in those. There's no way they could do those maneuvers with that much liquid sloshing around in the wing.
It's so sad that that guy literally went to a museum that could have, like, he could have learned stuff. Instead, he just didn't. He just chose not to. Shame. Let's see what Chris has been up to.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris.
Oh, that's not fun, Jaden. Did I see what Mike Pillow was selling his lumpy pillow at? Is this the 1488 thing? 1488! Yeah, I saw. For those that don't know, 1488 is a Nazi dog whistle. 14 stands for the 14 words, which is a white nationalist slogan. And 88 stands for HH, which is Hail Hitler. So yeah, Nazi pillows, that's fun.
New York, Westchester County. It's 9/19/24. Why? Why? Why do you believe in this unimaginable world that just couldn't possibly exist? You see, when you subscribe to believing in something that couldn't possibly exist, then you subscribe to believing in all the scientists that talk about...
They changed it to 1498 recently, though. I mean, I just checked it. It still said 1488.
Nonsense.
But it would be smart to change it.
Hypothetical situations like quantum theories and black holes. And you have to subscribe to all of that. You do realize that, right? Double black holes. Diamond planets. Just pure nonsense. Garbage. Double planets. I love that one. That's when two planets are actually together and they're both revolving around. You have to believe in that. Okay? You have to believe in all the scientists that tell you what you live on, when they have no idea either. They're just fed and regurgitating everything that they learned in school, which you'll never learn because you never went for your master's or anything like that in any of these degrees that any of these teachers or scientists have. Did you? I don't think you did. You just believe everything that they say. And when you believe in what they say, they tell you a sun or a star or an object up in the sky is a certain amount of distance away when they have no idea how to measure anything like that. Because their measurement...
I'm pretty sure astronomers know how to measure the distance to different celestial objects. It's kind of part of their job.
Don't make any sense. The measurements they had a couple of 100 years ago never added up to begin with anyway, and that's what they're using to measure stuff now.
Do you think that the techniques they use today are exactly the same as they were hundreds of years ago? I'm sure they're built on those techniques, but no, we have very different instrumentation.
I'm telling you exactly how many
the
light
math
years
is going to be
this
math,
is away.
yeah.
How many
Trigonometry,
millions of
trigonometry.
light years this is away.
But we can also, like, fire lights and lasers at shit.
Or how big
We can have, like, incredible space telescopes to look at things.
the universe
I don't understand how he thinks it can be exactly the same as it was centuries ago.
is. It would be absolutely impossible. I go back to NDT when he
Neil deGrasse Tyson
spews out this bullshit that nobody could actually see the curve of Earth unless if you were out in space. Okay, but yeah, we have, you know, people who believe in this spinning wet ball, like I did too at one point. Remember, we were all globe earthers at one point or another, but then we woke up and something clicked. But hold on. When he spews out this nonsense, that would be NDT, saying you can't see a curve unless if you're out in space. That's when you can see the curve. It's funny because we don't even have a picture of Earth from space.
We do. We have plenty of pictures of Earth from space.
But that's a whole different video. So how can we tell how far away everything is without being actually further away from the object, and no, I see, no, hold on. Let me get back on track here. The universe. How could we actually know the size of the universe without actually being outside of the universe?
We don't know the size of the universe. That's why the biggest thing we know is described as the known universe. It's the known universe. We don't know how big the entire cosmos is, like in theory. All we know is the furthest we can see.
And looking at the universe. You see, it works both ways. Don't you see?
Or observable universe, yeah.
That confused with that for a second, too. We're all trying to figure this out without master's degrees and bullshit and yin-yang. Without... I really shouldn't be walking on this quite yet, but it feels much better. You know, I got the boot off and everything. Without regurgitating stuff that we learned in school, because most of us don't have a master's degree. And I'm thankful I don't, because then I would be locked in and not being able to speak my mind. Because these people who have these master's degrees and these philosophers and all this other stuff, if they open their mouth and dare come out with flat earth, well, they'll be stripped of everything that they've ever earned. That's right.
Not really true. Once you get, like, your PhD, pretty much the only thing that can get it taken away is, like, actual malfeasance. Like, they can't strip you of your, like, PhD or master's degree just because they don't like what you're saying in terms of you being wrong. It would have to actively be, like, you turned out to be, like, a severe, like, a serial killer, or, like, you did something horrifying against other people. They're not going to take it away just because. Also, at a certain point, this is going away more and more in academia, but historically, like, teachers or professors and stuff, researchers can get tenure at universities in which it's basically impossible for the university to fire them. So, the idea that people in the sciences don't have the ability to make, like, statements that are outside of the norm is just not how things work. So I'm going to say doesn't understand the scientific method on the bingo card. Tea Time T says, I just recently saw some of the original prints of the Apollo 11 photos. Really beautiful, much more detailed than the scans and reprints. Oh, nice.
Some articles that say that they were the best professors around. Gone. Car is gone. Reputation gone. In an instant. Gone. Doctors. Lawyers. All of them. Teachers. All gone by saying one thing. Flat Earth. And that it's true. That tells you something, doesn't it? Politics, politicians, these career fucking politicians. Okay. These motherfucking career politicians are so bad. They've never had a job in their lives, but yet they give you the barometer of what you're going to pay for gas, what you're going to pay in the supermarket.
Famously, in the United States, the government controls the prices of goods and services. Chibahawk 420 with 36 months says, older man continues to yell at clouds, but somehow does it with more idiocy. Also a sub-baby. This sub-baby's name is going to be... Price Control Johnson. He controls all the prices.
And that's why Flat Earth is being hidden. Not only that, because of God, who created all of this for you, but also control. Okay? These politicians wouldn't be able to control you if there was a higher up. And people would fucking realize what is real and what is bullshit. Politics are bullshit. Okay, they're just puppets over there. That's all they are. They're nothing. COVID-19. Remember that? I'll never forget it because I lived through it. That's right. I had to go through all the nonsense of every single person telling me if I don't do what I was told to do, I'm going to die and I'm a threat to everybody else out there.
Yeah, man. Just be normal. Just, like, do basic precautions to help keep other people safe.
Well, that didn't really work out very well. No, it didn't. Standing the test of time with that was obviously didn't work out for the people. You should replay some of those videos, especially the ones of Cuomo. Fuck you, Cuomo. and every other politician out there. Career
did it.
politicians are bull.
Okay, I think that's all I can deal with Chris this week. He's just rambling. Ashley One Up says, bold claim from a guy who looks like he stuck his finger in a socket to style his hair. Okay. Oh, look, it's Roseanne Barr talking to a flat earther. That seems good.
Want us to believe that it's round. Well, why would they want us to believe that it's round?
There we go. We're already there. That's a very good question. That's where we all default to. And we'll get into that more. But the reason they want you to believe you live on a ball is because they're hiding who we truly are. They're hiding more resources. Think about this. Every war, what is that about? Land, resources, power.
Ports.
Right?
I mean, often, yeah, but that's not to say there haven't been ideological, like, conflicts. That's certainly a thing, but okay, whatever.
What if there's more land? What if they tell us there's 8 or 9 continents or whatever the number is now?
I think
What
it's
if there's
7.
what if there's 80 or 90,000 continents?
Then people would go get resources from those places.
Across the plane, beyond Antarctica. There's all now, and here's the thing. There's in the flat Earth community, there's people like, don't talk about more land. You know, you can prove the Earth is flat. We can prove the Earth is flat right here from everything that we can reach and test and measure ourselves.
Incorrect.
What's beyond Antarctica is speculation, but there's lots of evidence that there's more land beyond the shoreline of Antarctica.
The evidence is I made it the fuck up.
So you're saying that, like, okay, wait a minute. So it's like a pie, and Antarctica is the pie crust?
Well, it's not just the crust. Imagine a lake 100 miles across in the middle of Kansas. Okay. And at the center of that lake is a magnetic mountain, a mountain made from a magnet, just a magnetic mountain. So no matter where you are on that
made of magnet
lake, your compass will point to the middle of the lake. You with me? So south is every direction away from the middle. So south, if this is the middle, south is that way, and south is that way, and south is that way, because the compass will always be pointing towards the middle. East and west are circles around the middle. East and west are circles. This is the Gleason's map that used to be in all of the textbooks and encyclopedias and libraries, and they removed it.
I promise you they did not remove the azimuthal equidistant map of the world. What are you talking about? Killjoy says, Roseanne has the money to charter a plane to go beyond Antarctica. She could literally help them prove their theories. She could. She won't, but she could. Puka the Duka, thanks for 46 months of subscribing.
Right? So if you go east and west, you can go right all the way around, maintaining your east or west direction, and then end up right back where you started from. Right? If
it is the logo for the UN, but they think that's part of the conspiracy, is it's truth hidden in plain sight.
You walked around your neighborhood.
How does she still have money? Once you get enough money, it's basically impossible to get poor again. You get poor by rich people standards, but you can't get real people poor. Also, I imagine she still probably gets some sort of royalties from Roseanne. Somewhere. Gotta be in syndication somewhere on the planet.
Does that make your neighborhood a sphere? No, you're just walking around it. If the center of your neighborhood was the North Pole, the compass would point to the north.
Right. No, it makes sense. But what compass are you talking about? Any compass will do this?
Any compass. A compass points a compass points towards
north.
a magnetic force coming out of our north. If you got a table, get
No, it doesn't.
neodymium magnet.
It aligns itself with the magnetic field of the Earth. It points both north and south. It aligns itself with the polarity, not to a specific one direction. Ashley One Up says, we had a very big period of find more land, take more resources, starting with Columbus, so from the 15th until almost the 19th century, so why did we stop looking for new resources? Yeah, it doesn't add up. Doesn't make sense. She does paid appearances? I mean, yeah, I can imagine so, to weird chud stuff.
On a table, draw a big circle around it, and put a compass near it. That's going to take over. It's going to be stronger than the magnetic pole, and your compass will point towards that, and try to push that compass west. You're going to have to keep turning to maintain a west heading, because if you go straight, you're going to be going away from that magnet, and the north will be
Yeah,
that way,
it's
and the
because it's
south.
on a different plane. That makes
Yeah, you're
makes
just
sense.
going to go. You're just going to go straight.
But I'd like to spend, before we get into why are they doing it, I'd like to spend more time in your research, because I find this,
Sure.
because I just to be clear, I think you're probably a little bit more open-minded than I am. I'm like you were when you started. I don't believe in flat Earth. We had Eddie Bravo on.
Yep.
I love Eddie. It was a great episode. But he's the one that gave me your number. We've been trying to book this for a long time. But I think flat Earth is absolutely crazy. So I would like, I have a bunch of questions. I know you've
I
gone on
think
a lot.
most people do.
No, most
Well-
people think it's crazy. So I would like you to actually convince.
Hot take from Roseanne. Most people don't think the Earth is flat. Oh, thanks, Roseanne. You're almost as good as Joe Rogan at adding things to your podcast.
Me as a crazy skeptic with
Sure.
with some real info, because most people watching.
But I mean,
assume,
this whole thing
are
about
like me.
Antarctica is so intriguing to me because I know about Project High Jump and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah. So
I know it's like we're not supposed to know about Antarctica.
Admiral Byrd did Project High
I
Jump.
know we're not supposed to know about Antarctica. You can know all you want about Antarctica. It's fine. What are you doing?
High land that's containing our waters, and in the 1940s and 50s, and he said he found more land bigger than the United States on the other side of the South Pole. Well, that would be, from where he went from, that would be like near Australia or Africa. You think they would notice a continent the size of the United States? And he said there's also warmer lands there, which doesn't make any sense. And then he announced that on a national news show, and 6 months later he died suddenly in his sleep
Right.
somehow.
Yeah.
6 months later, he died suddenly.
So when you say most people,
Oh, they really took their time with that hit, huh? Oh no, he unveiled something secret. We gotta get to him immediately. 6 months later.
most people think the Earth is flat. This is a heat map of my app, the Flat Earth Clock app, and these are just the people. These are just the people that have my app, which is less than 1% of flat earthers.
That's scary. That's like the Megan's Law website with the. I don't like to see that many people. There's that many people that are on your app.
This is the UK.
Wow,
right?
that's
and so
impressive.
Wow.
they're everywhere. There's over 180,000, 185,000 now that are on the app. And that's way less than 1% of the flat earthers out there.
Why does he has no basis to say that? It could be 90% of all flat earthers. He has no data on that. What is he talking about?
Because once you discover this, once you take the time to see the truth, several things will happen. One, you'll never forget it. Two, you'll wonder how you ever believed in the ball. I was a diehard globalist, right? Everything globe. And we'll get more into why the lie, but it's about controlling you. Like if you don't know that there's more resources, if you don't know that there's more land, if you don't know that you're at the center of creation, you don't know who you are, you can easily be controlled by the government. Govern, control, meant is the mind.
God damn it. Big Welsh Andrews, thanks for following.
Right.
Right?
So the teaching of the earth is round. I watched a little bit on you. You're saying that's a relatively new
So in
teaching. Like 100 years ago, apparently,
well,
everybody, you said back in the days, they used to teach everybody believed flat earth, like to the 1800s, early 1900s.
Untrue. Very, very untrue. They were not teaching people the earth was flat in the 1800s or the 1700s or even the fucking 1600s or 1500s.
Yeah.
So Christopher Columbus, didn't he prove that it was round?
No! That's a pop cultural myth! Ah! I just want to vomit. I want to vomit everywhere all the time, forever.
By sailing over the ocean and everything.
Well, by looking at an orange and seeing. That's what we were taught.
These are stories told to us by the victors, right? The
Right.
controllers. So these are just stories. I never met Christopher Columbus. I don't even know if he existed. And a lot of these characters from our past, like Eratosthenes, 2,000 years ago in Greece, he did a sticks and shadows experiment, and they pushed that through
Radiology, didn't what's her name already imply she kind of was questioning this stuff? She used to work for the Daily Wire but got fired. Candace Owens, didn't she pay lip service to Flat Earth already at least once? I don't know.
Everybody, Carl Sagan pushed it in the Cosmos series, and it's in school books, and that is like one of the top proofs that kids are taught that the Earth is a globe with the sticks and shadows experiment. And they say it could only happen on a globe, but it actually, in the flat Earth model, it works perfectly. In the flat Earth model, the sun is small and close, right? We don't know what the sun is. It's just in the sky. It's small and close. So
not. It's quite large. You know, cosmically far enough away. Further away than you think it is.
2 beer bottles on a desk, and then hold a light over one of them. There'll be no shadow, and the other one will have a shadow.
Right.
You can use the same math that Eratosthenes did to figure out the sphericity of your table, which is flat.
So just to explain the shadows and rods, if you have a curve.
Eratosthenes discovered, I believe, the size of the Earth roughly from that, which depended upon the knowledge that it was round.
Earth, and you put up dominoes, right? And you shine the ones that are on the curve would have a longer shadow. So that's how they prove the Earth is round, because look over here, it's casting a longer shadow because the sun's up there, where like a sundial directly at noon, there's no shadow.
Right.
Proving the Earth is round. It looks
This
like
is,
this.
and Eratosthenes assumed that all sun rays come in parallel from a distant sun, which causes multiple problems because no one has ever seen parallel sun rays. Go out when the sun is out and the clouds are like broken up and look at the rays. They come out crepuscular. They spread out, right? But on a flat Earth with a small local sun, you can get the same results as on a ball. But they don't teach you that in school. They teach you that it's the only answer is a ball.
That makes sense. So just okay, I'm sure you understand, but if our listeners don't, if it's a small sun closer to the Earth, then the angle of the shadow would still work on a flat Earth model. But if it is the big sun that's 9 million times bigger than us, or whatever the math is, that would not work because it would be so massive it would only work on a curve.
They say that the sun is so big and it's so far away, 93 million miles,
right,
that the rays come in essentially parallel. But no one has ever seen parallel rays. And back at the time of Eratosthenes, they believed in a geocentric Earth, whether flat or globe, I don't care. They believed that the sun went around the Earth. How do you have a 93 million mile away giant sun circling a tiny little Earth?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, they were wrong about that. They were incorrect about that. It wasn't that. That's the answer.
Makes sense.
So they literally get their stories are crisscrossing. They make absolutely...
They're not. Someone can be wrong about certain aspects of a model back in the day, but correct about other aspects. Like, you can be correct and say the Earth is round, but incorrect about its place within the solar system or the universe. That was the system we had for a long time.
No sense, and people just short circuits. Are like, I just want to get an A on the test. I just want to get that right.
If the sun is large and we are going around it, that math works.
And when
are we circling the sun?
No, the sun circles us.
What?
This is why I love flat Earth theory.
Trey says, hey, second Gerald Bull shout out, but he proved the Earth was round by shooting targets from 50 miles away in his backyard using giant homemade artillery cannons. It's round, damn it.
He's so
the
convinced.
The sun circles us?
Yeah, so I'm just on this is going super fast.
We don't move.
Do you feel like you're moving? You might, but
no, I never do. And
Yeah.
I always wonder that if we're supposed to be spinning at something like 365,000 miles per second, how come nobody's hair is moving?
Inertia.
Oh God, these people are so foolish. I'm so frustrated. I hate it. I don't like be like, you're so dumb. I hate that. It's not constructive at all. But I'm just so frustrated when it's like, you could Google that question, right? And get an answer instead of begging the question rhetorically.
Right. Well, they say because the air is velcroed to the Earth by gravity.
Yeah.
And the air is spinning. And because the Earth is this is the official story. Because the Earth has been spinning.
Yeah, Hannah puts head in hands on the bingo card.
Along the friction of the mountains and the topographical of the surface of the Earth has made all of the air spin with us. Mm-hmm. But a summer breeze can blow left and right and up and down. Right.
Yes, the atmosphere is fluid. Correct.
The sun goes around.
Your YouTube.
Sorry.
And not to be a nerd, but
the sun circle.
The ocean also goes around with the Earth, but also within it there are currents. Yes!
So the whole solar system is wrong.
if you're a flat
What about
earther,
the other planets?
Well, let's go there in a second.
We're working
but the
through it.
sun goes around.
I love this shit.
And wherever the sun is, it's noon.
Okay.
And so the sun is a small local light. Now, a lot of globe anti-flat earthers and even some flat earthers will say the sun's 3,000 miles high and 30 miles wide. That works, but it could be 1,500 miles wide and 15 miles wide, or it could be 7,500 miles high and 7.5 miles wide. Scaling and variance, we don't know. I'm making no claims on what the sun is, where it is, other than it's a local light, which we can prove by its rays. Go out on a moonlit night when there's scattered clouds, and you'll see that the moon is only lighting the clouds that are right next to it.
Mm-hmm.
If it was 250,000 miles away, it should light up all of the moon, all of them. What's the question you just asked? You asked me a question. The other planets.
Yeah, because we can see stars moving in the sky, and we can track Mars and Jupiter and all that stuff.
Yeah. So
if there's no solar system, there's no planets.
Right.
rotating.
When you look at planets, I want to keep this.
I don't think she believes this Ashley one up. I think she's one of those right-wing figures that's just willing to listen to crackpot bullshit because they've adopted some sort of like faux ethos of like everything's equal. We need to have every opinion listened to, and then they listen to like the most crackpot nonsense people because part of their beliefs also involve science being a conspiracy, so it invites this sort of rhetoric. I don't think she directly believes it, but I think she's open to listening to this bullshit because some of it conforms to things that she and her audience already believe. Overthought, thanks for gifting a sub.
It's really simple. There's a thing called the inverse square law. Oh, the math. People freak out. It's very easy. When you have an object and it's a certain size, move it farther or move it twice the distance away and it'll be a quarter of the size.
Right.
Okay. And it's the same with the brightness. If I have something that's 4 lumens here, I double it, it's 1 lumen.
Right.
Right. It's a quarter. And it's the same as you get closer. When you go out at night and look at, I like looking at Jupiter because it's the brightest star.
Right.
You've seen it.
Yeah.
It's brighter than any other star. Right.
Jupiter is not a star, fun fact.
It's as bright as the sun, but it's just very small. So Jupiter, they tell us, is a gassy planet, and it's 4 times farther away from the sun than we are. So if our giant sun was right next to us, it would fill the whole sky, right? Mm-hmm. We move it 93 million miles away, and it's the size of a coin held at arm's length, right? That's how we see the sun. If we doubled that distance, it would be like the size of an eraser, like the end of an eraser. And if we doubled it again, so now it's 4 times farther, it would be pretty small. It would be very small. So if you were on Jupiter, that sun
size isn't based on the inverse square law. Yeah, the inverse square law is about luminosity.
Is literally,
he's using it for size,
like a large star at best. And you have to believe that distant sun is lighting up Jupiter. That light is reflecting off of the gassy surface, which isn't very reflective.
If you can see it, it's reflecting light. If you can see it, it's reflecting light. I'm begging these people. They hear reflection and they think mirror. Guys, I'm reflecting light into the camera because you can see me. So is this can of Coke Zero. So is this shiny water bottle. Anything you can see is reflecting light.
All the way back to your eye, 400 million miles away, and we see it as bright as the sun. You're seeing a light.
Not as bright as the sun. You can look at Jupiter in the sky and it doesn't hurt your eyes at all.
In the sky. Named after a god. That's all I can say.
Oh, you see? Ugh. So that was his appearance on the Roseanne show. That was awful.
In the Kent.
Let's see what this one is. This is titled Sex Magic Clones.
Hello people, how's it going? Hope you're all well. I'm in a lovely place here, look. I'm in the Kent countryside at the moment for a few days. I think you see, this is lovely. There's orchards and fucking everything here. Really nice. But yeah, I had some fascinating conversations with Christian the other day. Blew me away, mate. Listen, right, so I didn't realise. I thought all them NPCs. You know, people talk about what is it called? Non-player characters. I didn't believe in all that. I thought that was all bullshit. I thought, how can you have a fake person mincing about? You can't, can you? It can't happen.
Correct. Stop dehumanizing people who don't believe the bullshit you believe. Phyllis Fillers is not gonna lie, clones being the side effect of sex magic sounds like a dope D&D plot. Feel free to steal.
You've either got a soul in you or you haven't. You ain't got... I didn't think all them robotoid things, I didn't think there was much to that, like maybe one or two, but I didn't realise the fucking severity of it. The people are more fucked than they ever thought. I'll be honest with you. I said to Christian, it's just in this last few days of chatting to him, people are so much more fucked than they ever thought. They're more fucked than I thought anyway, and I thought we were fucked, but I didn't realise just how fucked we are, because nothing's real. It's not most of it, and I said like loads of times as well, based on Christian's info, it's all fake, but you've got to realise what that means. It's all fake. Like, it's fucking all fake. We live on a film set, basically. We live on a film set, and them NPCs, so when they sacrifice someone, say they kill someone, not a child necessarily, but like an adult, and billions of them go missing all the time and sacrificed and hot organs.
Billions of people going missing all the time, you know how it is. Ashley One Up says 2 pairs of glasses, clearly an NPC with a programming glitch. The Bethesda game.
Harvested. I also didn't realise till the other day that the organs, I thought they sold them to like elite people that wanted organs. No, they eat the organs. That's what the organ harvesting's for. There might be a couple of elite that need a spleen or something, whatever the fuck, do you know what I mean? But that's what the organ harvesting's for, because they fucking eat them. I didn't know that. I thought like the Greys ate some bits and bobs and that, but I didn't realise.
Is there a mental condition where people think they're in the Truman Show? There actually is. I forget the name of it. But yes, there is a defined mental condition, or at least described mental condition, in which people have believed their life is a television show. There was one instance of it where a person believed that 9/11 was a plot twist in their life. Yeah. So, yes, that does happen.
That, well, and all we get is the scraps left over in McDonald's. Like, the rest of the human carcass that they didn't fucking eat, we eat. We get the scrapings off their plate of our own species. That's not...
I've said this before, but the conspiracy theorists who think there's human meat inside McDonald's do not understand the economics or scale of McDonald's operations. Do you know how many people you'd have to kill to get even like a 10-piece chicken nugget at every one McDonald's restaurant? Like, there just is not that much human meat going around. Do you know how much food McDonald's goes through in a month?
Not very nice, is it? A bit fucked up, really. But yeah, so say for instance they sacrifice someone, like, I don't know, say some hitchhiker goes missing, and like, I think in the Appalachian Mountains alone, I think it's like, is it 400 a year? Just from that a little bit of the Appalachian Mountains, I think I got that right. But say you've got a random hitchhiker, or 1,000 hitchhikers, they kill them, harvest them, you know, do all the sex, you know, whatever, rape them, torture them, kill them, just like they normally do. And then obviously when they're dead, that soul gets reincarnated, goes into the sun, gets its mind wiped, comes back out. So they've got the fact that they've now taken...
Did you just say it goes into the sun and gets its mind wiped? Because I feel like I'm missing some important lore.
A person who was, say, 40 years old, killed them, they've got their food, they've got their little bit of sex magic and all that shit from torturing him, and the demons get a bit of loose. They also get the fact the soul's reborn into another meat carcass. Yeah, the soul will be born again within like 10 minutes. So they've got another baby with...
Oh, so it's not a big deal then. Right? Like, if you believe in reincarnation and think that no one ever really dies and they just, like, respawn, like they're playing deathmatch, why do you care? Nothing permanently happened to them. They're fine. Cloud Wizard says, Google says 6 people per year go missing in the Appalachians, not 400.
With a soul in it, which can be harvested within the next 15 years. And then what they do is they clone the person they just killed, like all of them, like 20 people in a room, they're all eaten, finished, all the scraps have gone to McDonald's. And then they...
Again, there's even if it was 1,000 people a day, that's not enough to put any amount of meat in any McDonald's. Lennon Cat says Burger King was once accused of using ground earthworms instead of meat. They defended themselves by arguing earthworms are more expensive per pound than beef. Yeah, doesn't make sense. Like people who say, like, you're gonna give drugs to, like, kids in their Halloween candy. Like, why would I give drugs away to children? They're mine. Like, I want the drugs.
They clone them, then they fast track the clone to the same age. See, this is really easy. It costs, I think it's $76 to make a clone once you've got the technology to make a person.
Clones on the bingo card. Also, wow, that's cheap. What a great fictional thing you've discovered.
It's 76 quid. Or $76, sorry. So they've then got a clone that's like 45 years old, or however old it was when it went missing. Before they killed it, and this is all of them, not just one or two, they take the consciousness, put it on a hard drive. So before the geezer dies, his consciousness is taken out, stored on a hard drive. So when the clone, like after a couple of 3 months or however long it takes to fast track the clone, when the clone is grown, they just imprint the consciousness into the brain of the clone and start its heart of electricity and put the fucking thing back out into the public to carry on earning tax for them and money. And it's unbelievable. You couldn't make it up. You couldn't make it up. It's mental. I was blown away when I realised the severity of that, because I was talking to Elle the other day about that Sunnyvale. I think that programme that was made in, you've seen that reel going around with the 250,000 square metre dome that was built in Antarctica, 250,000 square mile, I think it was. Some ridiculously big dome built in Antarctica anyway, and 30,000 people that knew what was going on were put in there. They created fake cities and everything, shops and all that. And they got 5 people that didn't know what was going on, and they put them in there, apparently. Well, that didn't ring true to me. It looked real, but I said to Christian, I don't see how that's real. How are they going to build a fucking dome in Antarctica, 250,000 square miles? It don't make sense. Put 30,000 people in there. And at least I was right about that bit. So they don't. That wasn't in Antarctica. That's showing you what they do in loads of cities all around the world.
What? Oh, God. So everyone's an NPC. Gotcha. Marcus Drake says, would you try ethically raised human meat? I want to know if we make for good Easter roast. Seems thematically appropriate. What do you mean ethically raised human meat? Like someone says, hey, when I die, feel free to try my meat. Sure, why not?
Right, that's not just one place. That's most cities. So, I mean, you know what I mean? This is, it's fucking so deep. Well, it's deeper than deep. So you think in all these cities, you've got like let's say 40%, 35-40% of them are human. With a soul. The rest are people mincing about that have been sacrificed. They don't even know they fucking died. Their soul's gone already. To be honest, that's not most people. That's a lot of people I know. And you all know them as well. I've worked in factories before. I was saying to Christian, I worked in a factory. I met a lot of people in there that fit this description. So these people, these NPCs, is that right? Non-player characters, yeah. They, sorry, I'm fiddling around here. Them NPCs, they don't know they're dead. Or they died, and they're conscious. They don't know none of that. They're just going about their life as normal. And these people tend to be, you know, I worked in a factory, there's a few people in there. One in particular had been there 47 years. Night shift, 47 years, coming up for his second gold watch on his 50th year. And he loved his job. It was the shittest job you've ever had. It was just folding bits of cardboard in a fucking cardboard box factory. I'm not joking. Cundall's Corrugated in Chelmsford it was. On the Wickford estate. And I'm telling you, it's like one of the most...
Okay, but if that guy liked his job and found it fulfilling, or at least was fine doing it until he went home, there's nothing wrong with that. You're calling this man an empty husk because you're not cool with the fact that he was fine with his job? Jesus Christ.
Boring job you could ever fucking find. And most of them have been there 15, 20, 30 years. It was like, well, how the fuck do you do that? That's how. Probably fucking 40% of them have been...
Doesn't understand their problem is capitalism on the bingo card. How do people do mind-numbing work for decades? Because if they don't, they'll starve. There's the answer. We did it.
Sacrificed like 20 years ago, didn't even know. And they're just carrying out their little robotic life. This is fucked up. You wait till people... Oh, do you know what I mean? You wait till people find any of this out, let alone that. That is just... That's fucking mad, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? People find out that they're fake and they die. Well, fucking hell. So I said to Christian as well, another thing I said to Christian that I weren't sure about was when the EBS comes, there's going to be lots of heart attacks, lots of suicides, lots of probably not as many killings as we previously thought. I think the military presence will be so in your face in cities and towns. I don't think there'll be a chance for people to kick off, because anyone kicking off is going straight to a FEMA camp. Anyone outside the front door when they're not meant to be is going to a FEMA camp if they ain't got a good reason for it. So I can't see they're going to have trouble in some areas, but I
don't know what EBS is. I've heard them say QBS and they mean quantum banking system. What does he mean by EBS?
Imagining it would kick off countrywide, because I couldn't see how it wouldn't. But if you've got, like, obviously in London there'll be places it kick, because they can't police an area like that with you've got 7 million people. You can't have 7 million military, can you? Do you know what I mean? So places like that will kick off, big cities, but and I think they want it to.
What's his beef with FEMA? It's a conspiracy trope that FEMA doesn't exist to aid in the case of natural disasters, but it's secretly like an organization to round people up and put them in concentration camps. Yeah, it's a big conspiracy. It sucks.
They need a bit of kicking off, don't they?
Oh, duh. EBS, Emergency Broadcast System. You are correct.
But yeah, it's just so deep. What's about to happen?
You believe in the Great Reset? Sounds like it.
Happen in like the next couple of weeks is beyond anyone's imagination. And these fucking idiots out there like Michelle Fielding and all these people. What the fuck did I saw yesterday? Paying for your house. Yeah, I was talking to Christian earlier about it. Paying for your house with your consciousness, accessing your quantum finance. Fucking ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? People will do anything to earn a couple of quid, won't they? These people, they don't know what's going on. They don't understand what's going on. Most of them probably don't even believe it. And they're just, fucking hell. Why would there be money? Like Christian's saying, why would there be money in fifth density? No one else in the universe has money. No one else in the universe sacrifices children to eat. Like, not on this scale, So why would there be any cash? What's the fucking point of money? The people aren't getting it, and even people that are told it still not getting it. I'm struggling to help people understand. People I know can't understand it. It's just too far out. I don't think it's that far out. It's just different. We've just never heard this before, and it all makes complete sense. Every fucking last bit of it. That's how you know it's true. That's why you don't need proof, calculations, research, and evidence. You formulate all that yourself as you're researching. That's what happens when you look into things.
Do your own research on the bingo card?
I've met several people in the last couple of weeks, good mates of mine, not met them, who I ain't seen for a while, that have said to me, look, totally understand the government bond, the this, that, the other, the cannabis curing cancer, got it, totally got it.
Oh no!
One of my pals said, but you lose people when you start talking about adrenochrome. And I said, bruv, that is what...
Adrenochrome on the bingo card.
What this is all about. That is what this is about. Don't worry about how far out it sounds. It's about scaring the life out of children for their blood, their adrenalised blood. You can't get any worse than that. So I think he's starting to realise the severity of it, because it's not just about your government bond, or they're robbing you for this, or they're robbing you for that, or you're paying too much. It's not about that. That's all needed to keep your eyes and ears away from...
Have a good jog, kitties are mega cute. Ashley One-Up says, I don't know what this guy is smoking, but I don't want any part of it. It's clearly not good for you.
Adrenochrome and anything else that might be behind an ice wall. That's all that is. What I'm wearing now, these shades, this roll-up, the lighter, this is all of it. I know it sounds stupid, but it's easy to understand. You've just got to let yourself understand it. Don't feel mad for understanding it, because it will make sense. People that don't understand it might think you're mad, because, yeah, that's just how it's going to be, because it's so far out. But you've got to think about these things. There's only a few days left before yeah. I saw the other day on the telly, there was that Hugh, some English presenter, Hugh someone, and some P. Diddy geezer. And there's like 5 or 6. What's it, Rupert Murdoch? Is he up in, they're all sex cases, all in the media, all high profile people. And it's like 1 or 2 more each day. Bump, bump, bump. It's rolling along. You can see what's going to happen in a minute, can't you? It'll get to a point, and then there'll just be this crescendo of craziness, and then there'll be bang, lockdown. And yeah, I can't wait for that, mate. I don't mind staying here though until the end of it. because it's fucking lovely here. Oh, got my pipe and that. What more could a man want? Eh? Don't need money. There's no, you ain't gonna buy nothing. You ascend with all your money. What are you
You
gonna spend
might
it
want to
on?
lay off the drugs.
When everything's free, and you're caring and empathy for other people, you do stuff for them. Because why would you not? I do that here. I'm gonna blend in right sweet when we get back home, mate. All I need is a pipe similar to that. We've probably got better than butane, so plasma fire or something like that, yeah? That's all. I'll be sweet, man. I can't wait for this. Anyway, big love, people. Have a good day. Love you. Hello, people.
Oh
How's it going?
boy, that's a lot. That's a lot. Take a look at the bingo card real quick. Let's see, we have flat Earth, adrenochrome, clones, doesn't understand their problem is capitalism. My research said by a non-researcher. Hannah puts head in hands. The Matrix, I believe, was said at some point. Do your own research. Reincarnation. One more. What was it? JP Black, can I see your bingo card? Is the old map site's defunct source? No, because that map is fine. He's just using it wrong. Let me check your bingo card real quick. My research said by a researcher, doesn't understand their problem is capitalism, satanic, believes they speak to aliens regularly, and misunderstanding of the scientific method. That is correct, JP Black. You are our official winner for today. Let me real quick mark. Yes, we're all watching a movie on the bingo card as well for the Truman Show thing. Let me write your name down. I can gift it. Easy enough. JP Black is our official bingo winner and is having me gift the sub. So that is our official bingo winner of the day. Thanks everyone for playing. We'll keep playing for fun, but that is the gift sub winner. And it is being gifted randomly. Let's see who it goes to. Conscious Chameleon. You win. Woohoo. Where can you get a bingo card? Here. Bingo. There you go. GamerG says, hate to be off topic for today, but have there been any meme stock people going on about Big Lots since they just filed for bankruptcy? Could we get a BBYQ2 bankruptcy boogaloo? I'm not sure. Oh god, the meme stock stuff. There's some, I've not been as into the meme stocks, in part because there's some weird shit going on within it that I don't want to talk about on stream because it crosses a line into, like, I don't want to cover this. So I've not been as up to, yes, Marantz, Briar Rose, yes, Marantz. But we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about the recent Marantz stuff. He asked if I wanted to do a thing next week. The answer is no, considering the recent stuff going on. Oh yeah, James Janney's video does drop tomorrow, though, so that's good. Oh, you're good, Gamer G. I just, yeah, Marantz is, maybe doing some stuff that's... Anyway, moving on.
So-called space mission With the latest so-called space mission by SpaceX, I found it very interesting. With the name of the mission itself, it's called Polaris Dawn. Of course, many that watch my videos will know that I covered Polaris extensively. Polaris being Lucifer.
Is there a PG way to say what Marantz is doing? Okay, it is kind of an elephant because I brought it up, so I'm not going to cover it, but I will just say why I'm not covering it. Marantz is mentoring a 17-year-old girl, and he bought her a very expensive camera, and she's going, I believe, with him to Las Vegas to shoot a video he's doing. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to be covering Marantz anymore.
As you can see here from my 1-hour presentation on the topic,
can't imagine why his marriage fell apart.
Definitely take a look at that on my channel. A lot of interesting details regarding Polaris being Lucifer, one and the same. Briefly taking a look here at the Georgia Guidestones, as you see here, which has a peephole. Let's get a little bit of a closer look here. And this peephole looks directly at Polaris. This proves two things: the importance of Polaris and how we live on a stationary flat Earth. This cannot happen that you can view Polaris.
Yeah, we're still going to do meme stocks in general when stuff happens. And honestly, if there's Marantz stuff that has nothing to do with this, it might come up. But I don't want to talk about it because right now it's just so full of discussions about the Marantz thing. And I try to keep the show mostly light and fun, you know? There's a reason there are certain conspiracies we don't cover. Like, we don't cover 9/11 conspiracies or Holocaust denial. That's not fun. There's no way to make these things fun or, like, kind of have a tongue-in-cheek reaction to them. Same with the Marantz thing.
24/7, 365 days a year through this peephole, if Earth is supposedly moving at 650,000 miles an hour through space with the sun. And again, with the peephole looking directly at Polaris.
So this peephole was actually a thing before this got exploded by a conspiracy theorist? Yeah. Yep. The Earth is, like, in the Milky Way galaxy, fun fact, and so is Polaris. So.
And the rules to live by reminds me of the song I played on my channel by the Alan Parsons Project. Speaking of the eye in the sky, Polaris, the maker of rules, dealing with fools, and again, that is Lucifer. And that gets on topic with Elon Musk himself, the so-called founder of SpaceX. And what do you see here? The Dragon, with the Dragon capsule, and the man that's supposedly heading the private sector with the spacewalk, as you see here, Jared Isaacman, and his company, he's the CEO, this billionaire of Draken International, with the name Draken itself, which means dragon. Not just some amazing coincidence, these two billionaires on the world stage.
Spurious symbology is evidence on the bingo card.
Giving praise to the dragon, with Draken being dragon once again, and obviously Elon Musk with the Dragon capsule itself. Now, taking a look at this one news network in Orlando, Florida, not too far off from where SpaceX launches its so-called rockets into space. Take a look here. What do you see? First off, obviously, the 666. If people can't see these news...
That's the network is 6! The network is 6! It's on channel 6!
Networks are owned by occultists. They're absolutely blind. This is one of many examples. Not just the 666, but the red and blue making purple for royalty or witchcraft.
To be clear, it's not even a 666 because that last 6, which you guys can't see, is the watermark for their YouTube channel, because for those that don't know, you can put watermarks on YouTube. So there's the 6 in the background, that's part of the set. There's the 6, that's the station identification that's in the bottom right when it was broadcast on TV, and because it's on YouTube, they also have the same logo as the watermark in the bottom right, slightly further.
And obviously the orange rockets in the back, orange being the only color numerology, that is 33. You even have a guy here.
Numerology on the bingo card?
Orangish type of hair Just as you see here in numerology, orange being 33 in Pythagorean. All about signs, symbols, dates, numbers, and colors. This is their language, not through words, but through signs and symbols, obviously. Now let's take a look here at the actual news story with this bogus...
Ashley One Up says, space, the fake frontier. These are the alleged voyages of the makeup ship, starship, the deep state.
Historic so-called spacewalk. Let's get right to it.
The 4-person crew of Polaris Dawn completing the first ever private spacewalk, the farthest into space in decades. News 6's Mark Lehman has been monitoring this mission and walks us through this really incredible moment.
Got some fist bumps going on.
Yeah. The Polaris Dawn crew giving each other encouragement as SpaceX pulled off a historic spacewalk early this morning.
Dragon SpaceX vent complete.
With suits pressurized, Commander Jarek Isaacman opened the Dragon capsule, exposing all 4 crew members to the vacuum of space. A helmet cam giving us a first-hand view as Isaacman climbed through the hatch.
How cool was that? It was extremely cool. It was even more exciting than I thought it would be.
Dr. Ken Kramer runs SpaceUpClose.com and was with the crew before Tuesday's liftoff.
This was a tremendous success. It was years in the making.
Both Isaacman and SpaceX engineer Sarah Gillis exited the capsule and did several mobility tests on the specially
Why
designed...
do you hate how they look, Gillis Filler? Because see, I hate Elon Musk, but I actually like the suits.
Spacesuits.
I think those
So
look
what
fine.
you have here is this so-called astronaut in outer space conducting a spacewalk. Just take a look at this absolute garbage, no doubt CGI. Bogus.
Everything I don't like is CGI.
Now taking a look here at Ed White's spacewalk from 1965. 60 years ago. So they're doing the same thing. Not advancing, not getting anywhere as far as technology.
Technology currently is different than the technology from decades ago.
And they both...
One was also done by a government, and the other was done by a private entity, which is kind of what they're illustrating here. I'm not a fan of the privatization of space stuff. I'm disgusted by it, but there's not much I can do about it.
Look like garbage, because that's what it is. Absolute garbage. And the fake phony baller supposedly spitting in the background. What a complete joke, what a complete insult. Now take a listen to this BBC newscast, and that's all it is a cast, like they're casting a spell on society. Take a look here, doing the Masonic hand sign, and as we move forward here, take a look at what you see.
Cardiff and speak to our science correspondent Georgina Renard, who is watching all those pictures. It was absolutely spellbinding, wasn't it?
And he says it's absolutely spellbinding. Like I said, the newscasters casting a spell on the very naive, very gullible public. And of course, you see the sellout, this paid propagandist wearing orange, like I mentioned previously, being 33 numerology. Make no mistake about it, by design. Now let's take a look here at this absolute garbage CGI footage, which is an absolute insult. Then I'll play a clip, part of this newscast from BBC, and it's just plain straight up mockery. Let's get right to it.
It's making history.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's what's really exciting here is that whilst, yes, there's these few individuals with a lot of money who are able to furnish these things.
Let's stop right there. Again, the absolute garbage CGI footage of this so-called astronaut and this so-called space scientist who obviously never been to space, but is supposing expert on space, Dr. Hina Khan, because that's all she is, an absolute con.
Does he know how many people in the world have the last name Khan? A lot. So many. I promise, that's not a conspiracy. Khan has got to be one of the most common last names in the world. Like, what are you talking about?
And that gets back to the whole entire idea of Polaris and this very deep deception on society. And again, it's all about signs and symbols and the 666 agenda. And this all leads to this so-called alien invasion. This is why they're pushing the nonsense of deep space exploration when nobody can get past God's firmament.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Project Blue Beam on the bingo card.
Programming. Space, the final frontier.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement.
Fascinating. Fascinating.
Beautiful. Beautiful editing. Truly. This video is titled "The MCU is Our Reality's Bible."
While it could seem like a cringy, bold, or foolishly nerdy statement, the fact is that I was not even a big Marvel fan. I had never really watched the MCU outside of a few movies, and even then, I barely gave them any mind. Well, after binging the entire MCU timeline on Disney+, not only am I wildly impressed by the films more than I ever was, including the few I had seen, but I was more taken aback by the fact that most of the stuff in the MCU is not only plausible, but is more than 50% likely to be the total truth of our reality.
More than 50%? Wow, we put an actual, number on it.
The following is, or could likely to be true. A society like Wakanda could exist, as could alien life.
I mean, what is that? What do you mean? No, is it likely? No! What do you mean? A society like Wakanda could exist? Based on what?
This is supported by all the sightings from airmen and women of craft, thousands of years more advanced than ours. String theory and the multiverse are likely to be real. We are all more powerful than we believe. There are agencies like S.H.I.E.L.D. keeping secrets that alter our very knowledge of reality. Our protective agencies like S.H.I.E.L.D. are also likely to be compromised by some group like Hydra.
Citation? Any citation? The Peter Hanna School of Statistics?
There are supernatural
or Peter.
Or paranormal forces that control, shape, and affect our lives and reality. We can all be heroes. But there are clearly villains in control due to the fact that the secrets, lies, and dog-eat-dog society design clearly are not created for anyone or thing's betterment other than those who enjoy watching the hardest
doesn't understand their problem is capitalism.
Working people suffer unjustly. This might seem scary to some and lame to others, but it should also be inspiring and wonderful to those who understand. Religion has failed us because most teach us to be victims. Most do not try to inspire us to stand up to evil, injustice, cruelty, and malice with our force of will, the power from our hearts and emotions, which, yes, need to be controlled. But not in the sense that we fail to feel them. We feel everything. We let every thought in. We just learn which ones to act on, which ones to be inspired by, which ones to consider and learn from. I am sure most Marvel comic fans have that feeling, that these are more than just stories. But then again...
No! As a fan of the MCU and Marvel Comics, no, they're movies and comic books. They're fun pieces of fiction. That's it. Please watch any other movie or read any other book. Bravo Needs Bacon says, it scares me that these people can vote and operate heavy machinery. Sometimes at the same time.
The Bible is just a collection of stories with a moral purpose, designed to inspire people. But considering that it is not
They're designed to make money for a multi-billion-dollar corporation. What are you talking about?
For the best, no matter what faith it may be. I think the reason for this is that we're not told how powerful we're capable of being. That yes, some may want to be villains, but most of us aspire to be heroes. With great power comes great responsibility. And that does not mean we have to be heroes saving the day. It just means we can make the ultimate choice not to be the villain. Heroes and villains leave damage in their wake.
I'm disappointed by the amount of Eternals stuff in this. Eternals is like the worst Marvel movie.
Is only concerned with
the worst MCU movie.
Their selfish fears. A hero fights fear with courage, and sometimes they fail. Sometimes fear gets the best of all of us. But that's why we were never meant to fight these battles alone. We're meant to be a team. We're meant to be the Avengers. That's why these films have so much to teach us, both about our reality and how to be a hero. How to try and avoid the mistakes and make better choices.
I'd rather watch Thor the Dark World twice in a row than Eternals once. Ashley OneUp says Eternals should have been at least 3 movies or at least a 20-episode mini-series, each episode being an hour long. Too much exposition, not enough characterization, or they could have just not made it at all and done a Howard the Duck movie instead.
A villain is looking for someone to hurt or blame, while a hero is simply trying to fix problems they mostly never caused, but regardless, feel a responsibility.
I feel kind of bad. This guy's understanding of the world is very stuck in like a sort of pubescent mindset. I don't know how to put it. Very melodramatic.
Duty to try and make the wrongs right. Sometimes it gets messy, but so long as you fight to preserve life, refuse to sacrifice it, and only take a life if you have no choice, and that means you're taking a life not out of anger, but to save another. Someone forces our action.
I like the first 2 episodes of Agatha All Along, Phoenix Leftist.
Not to take a life, but to stop the loss of life. Sometimes people are sick like a rabid dog. You pity them.
How old is this person? From what I've seen of his channel, he's in his at least mid-20s, if not early 30s.
Feel sorry for them and must stop.
Yeah, it's probably fine, Grimsbane. He didn't get copyrighted for it, so I'm probably fine. If not, I'll deal with it.
Them from hurting others. If you think secrets or conspiracies are far-fetched, remember how secretive the Marvel movies are with their scripts and whatnot. That no other film franchise takes spoilers this seriously. I mean,
pretty sure they do.
They act like they're guarding precious secrets.
Yeah, because they want you to pay them money to see the movie.
Plenty of films have leaks and still profit just fine. So what's with the spy games, Disney?
Why does Agatha need a show? Because she was popular in WandaVision and Disney wanted to make money.
You think this far-fetched? Well, here's a speech from my boy JFK, just before his brains were splattered.
If you are awaiting a finding of clear and present danger, then I can only say that the danger has never been more clear, and its presence has never been more imminent. It requires a change in outlook, a change in tactics, a change in missions, by the government, by the people.
Cat makes a guest appearance on the bingo card.
By every businessman or labor leader, and by every newspaper. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice.
Does the MCU guy not know that he's talking about communism? He was talking about communism. This is Red Scare stuff.
On guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military,
the chair is holding something right now.
Intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed.
You are standing in my brain.
How did you get here?
This is gonna be iffy. I'm gonna skip this part.
What we did not is...
Yeah, it's literally just a scene from Captain America 2.
What are you doing?
Ugh. Anyway, I hope this person... They did a whole other 50-minute video on the same topic, by the way.
If someone told me that the Marvel Cinematic Universe was the Bible,
but I'm not going to cover that today. Maybe another time. Speaking of Marvel and Agatha All Along,
of the first 2 episodes of Agatha All Along, with Aubrey Plaza coming alongside Katherine Hahn to co-star as a witch in the new series.
Ashley One-Up says it's a shame corporations hit the abort button when a show or movie isn't an immediate hit. They've forgotten that shows can take time to build their audience. No one is singing praises for TNG Season 1. Yeah, the model's changed, unfortunately, and it's brought in some negative externalities.
And when she was asked about the new show on the red carpet premiere in Hollywood, she agreed that this will be the gayest Marvel project yet, as we look at some of the previous Marvel movies, series, and comics, and see what else they've been perpetuating on their adoring fans. Stay with us as we look at these and other stories on the 511 News. Welcome back to the 511 News. I'm your host, Chad Davidson of Good Fight Ministries. And on today's episode, we're going to be looking at Marvel. Yes, Marvel and their new series, Agatha All Along, a very witchy-themed series. And before we get into that, what we would love for you to do is like this video, as well as subscribe to the Good Fight Ministries YouTube channel, and leave a 5-star review if you listen to this via podcast. All that helps just to keep the algorithm going, and we always like to see where you guys are coming from. So if you would like to leave a comment, let us know just what, don't give us your full address, but let us know maybe what city and state that you are from. We just had some a great brother and sister that were from Sweden that just visited the church this last Sunday. It was awesome to really get to know them in person and be blessed by them coming and fellowshipping with us. And so it's always good when we do get to meet new people that love Good Fight and want to come to Blessed Hope Chapel in Simi Valley, California.
Nerdy with 12 months says this JFK speech is quoted in a Muse song. Not sure how they'd feel having a connection to this. Also, that jet fuel guy reminds me that there was a military idea to make planes so large that to get it off the ground would require multiple nuclear reactors, and that's not even the dumbest part of the idea.
California, where Joe and I and the rest of the team here do serve. But let's get right into this. Agatha All Along is an American television miniseries created.
Any good TNG episodes from season 1 I'd recommend? Ooh, I'm actually partial to the neutral zone. I think that's the one where they find the cryogenically frozen people. Might be incorrect.
By Jack.
I enjoyed that one. I don't like the pilot with Q, but the other Q episodes in season 1 are interesting, though not as good as his later appearances, yeah.
Schaefer from the streaming service Disney Plus, based on the Marvel Comics character Agatha Harkness. It is a spin-off from the series WandaVision, and it is the 11th television series in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, produced by Marvel Studios. The premise is that 3 years after being trapped in the town of Westview, New Jersey, at the end of the miniseries, WandaVision, the witch Agatha Harkness escapes with the help of a goth teen who wishes to face the trials of the legendary Witch's Road. Without her magical powers, Agatha and the team form a new coven of witches with which to face their trials. And of course, these things are always on our radar because Disney Plus and so forth, a lot of parents put their iPads or whatever down at the dinner table and hand it over to their children, and they start playing on Disney Plus. And this is some of the stuff that they get to click on and watch. So obviously anything that pushes witchcraft, whether Harry Potter or otherwise, and point it in a positive light. And in fact, when we actually look at that in the scripture, that's one of the clear indications that we can kind of go to, is whether or not someone is pushing witchcraft in a positive way, or pushing, I don't know, fornication in a positive way, or any other sin that the Bible says, if you practice, will not allow you to inherit the kingdom of God. We want to make sure that's repudiated and only talked about in the negative. It should never be talked about in fellowship with. It should never
Okay, you can just not watch the show.
Be talked about in jest, but always should be repudiated. So that right there, automatically, witches coven, all the things we're talking about, that should point and say, yeah, we shouldn't be watching that. But on the red carpet regarding this, and a lot of the stuff, even trying to search for it, trying to not watch entire episodes, but see clips of it online, when you go, the number one thing that kept getting pushed on there was a very erotic scene with the two characters, with Catherine Hahn playing Agatha, and then also there with Aubrey Plaza. And not only is that going on, but she was asked on the red carpet at the premiere for this show, hey, is this the gayest project ever? And this is what she had to say.
I'm told, I've seen the first episode, but Agatha is the gayest Marvel project yet. Do you agree?
It better be, because that's what I signed up for. I think it is.
Now, obviously that could be in jest or whatever, but there is obviously some innuendo going on in the show. And what I was also wondering is, has anybody actually put this to the test? Because here are just...
there is a lot of tension between Catherine... By the way, Catherine Hahn's fucking awesome, and she plays Agatha. Her and Aubrey Plaza have, like, some weird sexual tension going on. Pretty good.
A few of the Marvel Universe, many queer characters and storylines. North Stars...
I mean, I don't know if there have been that many, but yeah, sure.
The first major gay character in Marvel Comics, and a member of the original Alpha Flight superhero team. Wiccan,
everyone's familiar with Alpha Flight.
Canonically gay character who...
I'm familiar with Alpha Flight, but I'm talking about the general public.
Who appears in WandaVision as Billy. In the comics, he is in a relationship with Hulkling. Speed, a bisexual character who appears in WandaVision as Tommy. Loki, confirmed to be bisexual in the Disney Plus series, where he and his female variant Sylvie discuss their love lives. Sylvie, Loki's female variant, who is also confirmed to be bisexual in the Disney Plus series. Phastos, the first gay character in the MCU to have an on-screen kiss, which happens in the 2021 film Eternals. Logan Lewis, a bisexual young woman who takes on the mantle of Nightshade to protect her community in Chicago. Escapade, a transgender mutant whose real name is Shayla Sexton. Korg, revealed to be queer in 2022. Star-Lord, Nomad Peter Quill is shown to be bisexual. Black Cat, Felicia Hardy, said she had a girlfriend. Deadpool, Wade Wilson identifies as pansexual. Gwenpool, Gwendolyn Poole came out as asexual and aromantic. And if that long list of perpetuating debauchery isn't enough...
the debauchery of asexuality. You hear that, arrow aces? You're next, okay, you degenerates.
Opening scene of Avengers Endgame. What you have there is somewhat of an AA meeting after 50% of the population has pretty much disappeared at the snap of a finger of Thanos. And now at these meetings, they are all sitting around talking about how they're getting on with their life with all their friends leaving. And who's in the scene? Immediately talking about his gay date that he went on. None other than the director.
You can just call it a date. It's just a date. You don't have to call it a gay date. You can just call it a date.
Of Endgame, Joe Russo, who is right there and being encouraged by, who else? Captain America, to continue his gay dating, and that'll make things get better. So it seems like they've been pushing this stuff all along.
Very, very true, Amber. If Loki wasn't queer, it would be weird.
Of course, having it, and notice how many things I mentioned first time we're seeing this is on Disney Plus, Disney Plus, Disney Plus. And we, of course, have Aubrey Plaza, who is a very dark character. Some people had watched her in Parks and Rec as in comedy and so forth. But this is not the first demonic show or video or movie she's been on. In fact, she played Laura Feinberg, who actually slept with the devil and gave birth to the Antichrist in Little Demon. And you can actually hear a little bit of the plot as we've covered Little Demon on this very show.
What does this have to
Little
do
Demon
with
FX animated horror over or in help out.
The Whore of Babylon mentioned.
Okay, I think I'm done with this guy. He's just rambling forever about this and not getting anywhere. Here are those people, those guys who do remote viewing, and this is their video called Civil War 2.0. How close are we to national conflict?
Welcome, everybody. This is my target, IV87-ES23. And I have a video we're not going to have each viewer go through their data because it's all incorporated in the presentation. So we can talk about it after.
Did I see them complain about Agatha's ass shot? The women got Hulk and Thor's asses, but men got old cat mom's ass with Agatha. I'm sorry, but if you're out here trying to tell me Catherine Hahn isn't an attractive woman, what are you even doing with your life? You're just coming out here and lying?
I'll just play the video and then we can react to it.
The AI? It was AI, I'm pretty sure.
Things are getting very tense in the U.S. political landscape. Are we heading for a collision? Could we see actual unrest in the near future? Could there be confrontations that escalate between the two political parties? Are things about to erupt into something very unpleasant? Hi, I'm Dick Allgaier of Future Forecasting Group. We use remote viewing to predict upcoming events. We are in times of great change, and recently our remote viewers at Future Forecasting Group have been immersed in looking at current events and big changes that are just over the horizon. And I wanted to see if things are going to reach a boiling point soon between the two political factions in the U.S. I wanted to see if we're going to witness unrest and even something more troubling. So I decided to have the remote viewers work this as a target of interest. This is the target ID, IV87-ES23. That code was randomly generated by a random numbered letter generator. The target is civil unrest, physical fighting between political parties, United States, near future. Now there's a wrinkle to this. I wanted to get data about the escalating political tension without exposing the viewers directly to that. Why is that? Because viewers who watch the news are expecting this, and if they start gathering data of this nature, they can amplify it. I also wanted to task this in a way that would shield the viewers from actually witnessing troubling images and get the data without any of their expectations, their bias, or analytical thoughts corrupting the data.
This isn't data, it's just stuff that pops into your head. That's not data.
I decided to employ a mask and use entrainment to get the answers. Now, a mask can allow viewers to identify and collect indicators from the mask in a sterile way that will provide data about the real target of interest without the viewers being exposed to the actual target. Now, I designed my first remote viewing mask in 2005. In 2008, I used masking and entrainment to successfully predict the 2008 stock market crash and financial meltdown. This is
and that's why he's a multi-millionaire.
Is the target IV87-ES23. Civil unrest, outbreak of physical fighting between political parties, United States, near future. This is the tasking document for the mask. The viewer will perceive Fauner Stone's solstice ceremony, Fauner Woods, Terrapin, June 21, 2025. And these are the conditions. If there is civil war, unrest, political violence between parties in the United States in the near future, then the viewer will perceive a bright sunrise with beams of sunlight coming from the northeast horizon through Fauner Pass. If the U.S. is peaceful in the near future, the sunrise will be obscured by clouds and rain.
What?
No one will see the sunrise. The stone monuments will appear dull and static. There will be wind. The site will be quiet with only a very few people present. The birds will remain caged. Those people will be in tents, sheltered from wind and rain. The mood of the few people there will be disappointed and somber. Target IV87-ES23. This target is masked. The viewers worked under double-blind protocol. They were not told this was a mask. Here's the chain of custody document. The chain of custody was kept by Brian Bodu of the Looking Glass Working Group, documented by him, and we occurred between anyone on this target. 5 solstice at Fauner Stones. What happens in the mask? Variables in the mask are entangled to conditions at the target. And now to the data. Did viewers identify the prominent features of the mask? That's the first thing we're looking at. And we see Brian's sketch as compared to the mask image. You see the pathway, you see the circular alignment of the standing stones, and his representation of the forest. This is data from Carrie. She drew the forest, she drew the pathway, and she drew the vertical.
Let's move on. Let's do Eric Dubé's recent video, Flat Earth, Knowledge versus Belief. Ashley One-Up says I'm getting dizzy from all the spin on this prediction.
If I secretly placed a blue...
Oh, and Ashrand with the 7-stream streak says, when I wished on the monkey's paw for conspiracy theorists to be fine with masks, I didn't mean this.
...ball inside a wooden box, and then later, I showed you the closed wooden box, and said, there's a blue ball inside this box. You could only believe or disbelieve me. You couldn't know for sure. Until I actually opened the box so that you could see for yourself, you wouldn't and couldn't know with certainty whether a blue ball, something else, or nothing at all was inside the box. This kind of hearsay is second-hand knowledge, which is simply a belief in someone else's claims, and is very different from first-hand knowledge.
Yeah, but that's how most knowledge works, right? You don't see most things happening. Just like you see such an infinitesimally small amount of things. Your subjective experience is such a tiny slice of objective reality. So yeah, you can't decide that you can only know things that you can directly observe, because that would exclude most things.
First-hand knowledge comes from direct personal experience. Once I opened the box, revealing the blue ball inside for you to see with your own eyes, then it would become first-hand knowledge, and no longer a belief. Now what if
I mean, it would be an observation. It would be a belief. I feel like the definition he's trying to run here to try and differentiate knowledge and belief is faulty.
I secretly took a picture of the blue ball sitting inside the open wooden box, and then later I showed you the closed wooden box along with the photograph? In this instance, would you know that there is a blue ball inside the box? No. Once again, until I actually opened the box so that you could see for yourself, you wouldn't and couldn't know with certainty whether that picture was of a different box, if the ball was removed or replaced after the picture was taken, or if the picture was completely doctored and faked. Just like hearsay is belief in someone else's words, photos are belief in someone else's pictures. Both are second-hand sources of information, and neither can be known, only believed. So when NASA and the world's space agencies present us with pictures of a blue ball in outer space, or their astronauts tell us that Earth is a blue ball in outer space, do we know that to be true, or is it simply a belief? Without first-hand experience of seeing Earth from that vantage point, we cannot claim to know that Earth is a blue ball in outer space. We may choose to believe or disbelieve the words and pictures of the astronauts, but neither can be known without direct personal experience. Only a small handful of astronauts in history have claimed.
When is he going to switch over to going, but I can look at the horizon and it looks flat, therefore I know the Earth is flat, but you believe it's round.
Claim to have seen Earth from that vantage point. And the fact of the matter is that they could just as easily be lying as telling the truth. Likewise,
just as easily? Not so sure about that one.
The pictures supposedly taken by these astronauts could just as easily be fake as real. If we want to know something, we cannot rely on the pictures and testimonies of other people. Pictures and testimonies can only be believed, not known. So how can we endeavor to know, and not just believe, the true shape of the Earth? People and pictures can lie, but tangible substances and empirical demonstrations cannot. In your experience, the horizon is always horizontal, and sea level is always level. Still
Not what sea level means, but okay.
water remains flat across its surface and physically cannot show curvature or convexity upon its surface.
You can, you just have to zoom out enough.
The horizon rises to the eye level of the observer and remains flat 360 degrees around, regardless of altitude. Your every experience and every personal observation is
objectively untrue. Once you get high enough, no. Just be away from Earth.
Always that of being upright on a level Earth. You have never experienced being upside down or on the sides of a gigantic globe.
That's subjective, though. It's a sphere. So everyone from their personal subjective experience is right side up because it's a sphere and you're on the exterior of it.
Even if you believe Earth is a globe, in your experience, you know it to be flat. Likewise, you have never observed or experienced the supposed motion of the Earth. Except for maybe an earthquake or an avalanche, your every experience and personal observation is that of a completely motionless Earth.
This is just zetetic astronomy again.
Your experience, the sun, moon, and stars are all moving overhead, but the Earth underfoot is still. Even if you believe Earth is moving.
Sorry, it just annoys me that Eric Dubé has spent the last, I don't even know, what at this point, 7-8 years ripping off the same book from 100 years ago?
Experience, you know it to be motionless. Over 2,500 years ago, the Buddha said, "Believe nothing, no matter where you read it or who said it, unless it agrees with your own reason and common sense. To believe the pictures and testimonies of others over your own eyes and experience is a ridiculous relinquishment of discernment. It is a logical fallacy of appeal to authority and intellectually irresponsible.
Hydrate.
The very concept of belief is a weak epistemic function. Believing is what people do when they don't really know. Instead of admitting the truth, which is that they simply don't know, people often prefer to pick and choose various beliefs.
Yes, Mossloff.
Beliefs are antithetical to knowledge and become an impediment to its acquisition. If people accept that they don't know something, the mystery of the thing remains, and a curious, skeptical, critical mindset can flourish. If people instead choose to believe something that they cannot really know, it is nothing but self-induced delusion.
Joan Gorbell with 50 bits says, believing things other people tell you is literally the basis of our entire society. If you had to confirm everything personally, human society wouldn't work. Correct.
Simply, all beliefs overstep the bounds of attainable knowledge. Beliefs should be banished from your psyche. We should only be involved in knowing and not knowing.
This is a fundamental, misunderstanding of how most things work. You don't learn things directly most of the time. That's not how human knowledge works.
People believe or don't believe is unimportant and irrelevant. What matters is what we know. And when we don't or can't know something, it's important to admit that to ourselves, rather than finding some comforting belief to replace it. And that is why so many people choose to blanket themselves in beliefs, rather than admitting the simple truth that they don't know. Because beliefs are comforting. It's uncomfortable to realize that you don't know the greatest mysteries of life, and it's much more comforting to pretend you do, by adopting a belief system that provides answers to all those questions.
That's ironic.
Then, instead of being a perplexed detective analyzing life's mysteries, you become an egotistic evangelist preaching blind faith. This is why I find religious flat earthers to be a paradox and a problem.
Toreador says ironic.
Many people who know that Earth is a level, motionless plane are also believers of various world religions. Since flat Earth is mentioned in the holy scriptures of Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and others, members of these religions often take this as proof positive that everything else mentioned in their holy scriptures must also be literally true. This is simply not the case, however, and all claims must be validated
staggering levels of hypocrisy on the bingo card.
by their own merit. The fact of the matter is that Flat Earth was the prevailing cosmology at the time when most of these holy scriptures were written, so it is no wonder that their worldview is reflective of that. Just because Flat Earth is mentioned in the Bible, and Flat Earth is true, doesn't mean that a man was born of a virgin and walked on water. It doesn't mean that snakes and burning bushes can talk, and it doesn't mean an ark could hold and feed tens of thousands of animals for months at a time. Believing these Bible testimonies of things we cannot prove or experience for ourselves is no different from believing the testimony of astronauts. In our experience, nobody has ever been born of a virgin or walked on water. Personally, we have never seen a snake or burning bush strike up a conversation. We may choose to believe or disbelieve in such things, but we cannot know them to be true. Therefore, when we are trying to awaken others to the reality of Flat Earth, religious beliefs really shouldn't enter into the discussion. A flat, motionless Earth is objectively, observably, and empirically demonstrable and directly experienced by everyone. It doesn't require belief like the globe or religious scriptures. Flat Earth is backed by abundant evidence, experiments, and experience, and that is why people like myself don't just believe the Earth is flat, we know it is.
Thanks, Eric. I really dislike Eric Dubé. Again, he just has like the same 5 talking points he goes over and over and over again. The head of Peter's cult does music videos. Let's watch some of his newer ones, I guess. Ashley One-Up says, so the Bible is fake, but actual physics is fake? So what's the truth? Whatever Eric says. Harold Ebbleman says, as long as we're talking religions, I'd like to, propitiate the Hannah for boon in my job quest. I've got an upcoming pre-interview thing, and I really like this job's benefits and pay package and mission statement. I bestow upon you you're gonna get the job. Job is yours. Get it.
You potatoes, wipe you up like you chips. You fake MC blue capping like you all fresh and fit. These bosses so lethal, box like tales from the crypt. These bobbies so criminal, they leave you swimming with fish. My flows is so fresh, fresh make a mental cool with heat. Robbing finger licking hand, opiate to the sweet. Sprinkling bars with sesame seeds, cause when he says sesame seeds, God brings a full harvest. It's timing a season, God speak. I spit so clean, I spray the room with breeze. No profanities, you set the crack in the weed. These lyrical pros, calamitous line by line. All they want is my high, my altitude is a crime. Back to the future, the lore, and I'll be chasing God's time. I kill the pair with the pits, mechanical so fun. I'm blasting doubles, the rubbers, they dig you up with a shovel. I'm up, be sharp like a razor, you raise a bird with a stubble. I leave your mind cold twisted, I'm a tornado half ice. I'm pop ice with 50 calories, balance meal with fried rice. My boss is so heavy, the pure gold and they nice. Let me let you listen and now I put you like ice. You must be blind, I season you up with God's spice. Slowly blessing these lyrics, man I be repping the Christ. Cause I be spitting living waters, red seas, he just splash. Making haters repent and receive eternal life. I be chopping chopstick, pop you dumpling. Roasting, walking, see ducks in Peking. I see you look your mental jujits in the ring. Struggle the session, leave you broke crumbling. You try to build your own kingdom, but don't you know it won't last. I'm trying to fight for his kingdom, his glory will never last. He's uppercutting the devil, you sip for music is past. The rod of iron is king, demonic powers get blast.
We're only halfway through this one? Oh god.
So
Toreador says, Shamshin, more like Jamshin. I don't get it.
His lyrics bullets fully automatic. Hit it, you psychosomatic. Lifting you high with hydraulics. And I've been causing the panic. Making you feel like you manic. These bars be hard like the granite. Don't ever take me for granted. Cause I be spitting the flow. Fire my soul, spring those pole. Now when I'm hold, letting it go. Never say no. Finish your goal. Sing your soul. You make it a cold.
Yeah, you need the lyrics on screen because he's really hard to understand. He did one about the Trump assassination attempt.
If you come for the king, you best not miss. If you come for the king, crown ups. Better not miss the shot. Here it comes. Fire up and up the rooftop, he's shot. Roll his head to the right. God rock. Holy Spirit make it move. Do
Wow, he really doesn't enunciate well. That seems like an important thing to do when you're a rapper. Shitty cult to be in.
Hey, honeyfish. Bill Gates' channel just dropped a new vid. It's a trailer for a Netflix movie called What's Next? Starring Bill Gates and Lady Gaga and Bono and all your favorite stars. And it's about the future and the challenges. So I'm going to leave a direct link to this, but I thought you might want to see this. Netflix, of all places, is producing this Bill Gates narrated movie.
You all know how much conspiracy people love Bill Gates. Benekagami says, man, philosophy really is eldritch knowledge, huh? Critically thinking about thought really breaks some people's minds and drives them mad, doesn't it? A little bit.
About our future. And I'll stop here and there and critique it for entertainment and educational purposes, of course.
This is a show about our future.
See, gotta stop already. He's talking about our future? Now, who is the our?
Humanity. And I could answer that question for you.
Because there's the Bill Gates and friends, and then there's the rest of us. So, who is the our that Bill's referring to? I think this Netflix movie will tell us.
The world is facing a lot of big challenges right now.
Climate change,
creating responsible AI,
misinformation, income inequality,
dealing with infectious diseases. But I believe we can solve them.
Bill thinks we can overcome all these challenges. Already with the God complex going on, they all possess this.
Did he say he was gonna personally solve them? Jesus Christ, you don't have to like Bill Gates as a person, but come on, this is piling on for no reason.
They really truly believe that they were divinely placed to make the decisions for the rest of us. They're in their own world. You gotta watch and listen to this carefully, and I encourage others to look at this video and give us some insight on what you're seeing here. Because I'm just telling you that I believe there's a lot here that we can glean, you know what I'm saying?
How will artificial intelligence impact society? Crafted text to my son using Gen Z slang. Yo fam, what's good? How you vibing?
That's not even... that's like millennial slang. What are you talking about? That's terrible.
At a certain point, AI will be good enough to build a better AI. So AI builds a better AI, which builds a better, which builds better, which builds better, which builds better.
Ashley One Up says the left were obsessed with people the way the if the left were obsessed with people the way the right claims the left are obsessed with certain people, there would be 3,000 more religions than there are. I don't understand what you mean.
Literally show AI turning into a monster and laugh about it. Look at this thing. This is literally one of the Lovecraftian old ones that Gordy Rose talked about when...
Kinda looks like a monster penis. Kinda looks like a monster penis thing. Like, even the little eyes on it are kind of like veiny. This is just a monster dick.
He was talking about AI.
And these things that we're summoning into the world now are not demons, they're not evil, but they're more like the Lovecraftian great old ones. There are entities that are not necessarily...
He's speaking metaphorically to the conspiracy theorist who made this video. This gentleman is speaking metaphorically. Fun fact.
...going to be aligned with what we want.
So what do these Lovecraftian old ones look like? Oh, just like the image that they give us in the Netflix Bill Gates movie, talking about AI. Spitting image of the same types of creatures.
I mean, I don't know about that. They both have tentacles, but those are pretty different monsters.
I mean, this thing is loaded, man.
It's getting hard to write science fiction.
There's always been conspiracy theories. We underestimate how creative Americans are.
Bill Gates is part of a reptilian race that includes Tom Hanks and Lady Gaga.
You gotta love how they reveal themselves, hiding in plain sight, and then mocking you about it. Because they really do look at themselves as a different species. They are not on the same playing field, and you have to understand that. They take counsel with the powers and principalities and spiritual wickedness in high places. That's...
Yeah, you're the kind of person they're making fun of. Congrats.
...who they serve.
Entertainment and information are a lot closer together than they ever have been before. There's no way to stop it.
What they're telling you is through the censorship and the internet.
Toreador says this guy smokes cloves in his rusty 2007 Toyota Corolla trying to remember the good times in the late 90s and early 2000s.
Identification systems and everything they're putting in, your information will essentially be entertainment because you will be censored from being able to obtain your own information in order to discern a matter for yourself.
None of that was said in this whatsoever. What are you talking about?
Things like anti-Semitism Bill 6090 will essentially ban things from your access and be
overt anti-Semitism on the bingo card?
Be outlawed, criminalized. Things like scriptures in our Bible, for instance.
No.
Because that is the main target of their censorship program. They will eventually literally ban the Word of God and come up with a new Bible, one that's correct, created by AI.
AI can create new ideas, can even write a new Bible,
And Bill claims he doesn't have a solution, where in fact, they know exactly what their solution is, and they're applying it right before our eyes.
I don't have the solution.
Come on, Bill.
We have to give up hydrocarbons almost entirely.
Now, a lot of people have figured this out by now, but when Bill Gates and the like make statements such as we have to eliminate all hydrocarbons, they're essentially saying we need to destroy creation.
No, they're not! They're literally trying to mitigate climate change's damage! No!
Because these are the building blocks of creation. To eliminate human population.
That's not what they meant. That's not what they meant even a little bit.
That's what this really all boils down to. They are
population control is a motive on the bingo card.
Openly declaring, intending to destroy God's creation so that can build it back better.
Climate change benefits by having lots of young activists.
I operate from love of my home and the people.
You gotta have the emotional manipulation. Can't have a good con job without adding some emotion in there. Carry on.
I learn from them just like I do from the scientists coming up with the breakthroughs.
We have the obscene situation where there are 3 people, you being one of them, who own more wealth than the bottom half of America.
Toreador says, but like Bill Gates is the single largest private owner of farmland, and this, and there's a link, them using 3 Mile Island. Yeah, he's the biggest owner of farmland, and he owns like 0.5% of all farmland. That's a general capitalism problem. You can dislike Bill Gates for being rich, but, like, he's not the shittiest rich guy. He's just shitty in the sense that he is a billionaire. Ashley One Up says, doesn't understand their problem is capitalism should be a free space at this point. Yeah, it pretty much is.
America. Is the system working? In your judgment, is it working? What do you think?
So Bill goes to Bernie Sanders for advice, another pillar of wisdom. It looks like it's working pretty well for you, Bernie and Bill, wouldn't you say?
We've got a lot of work to do. The sooner the better, sooner the better, sooner the better, better.
My hope to eradicate malaria in my lifetime.
I want to eradicate it in my lifetime. It's a tougher constraint. So.
Coriador with 50 bits says, I did the math. He owns about half of Rhode Island worth of farmland spread around the country.
If Bill Gates didn't exist, we'd have to make him up. If we did, no one believes.
If Bill Gates didn't exist, we'd make him up, and no one would believe the character. Well, yeah, that's probably true because he's straight out of a Marvel X-Men comic strip. And I love how they're just pulling from this pool of the wealth and knowledge and understanding of the world with Lady Gaga and Bernie Sanders and Bono.
The character.
We have to drive innovation to get ahead of these challenges.
Do you think we can do it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, we can usurp God and form an insurrection against him because
insurrection against God is right up there on my to-do list.
He was flawed in his creation. Therefore, we must destroy it and rebuild it back better in our own image. Meanwhile, deceiving the nations and hunting their souls. And I will reiterate, the only defense against this adversary is the Spirit of the living God that seals you until the day of redemption. And the only way to obtain that is believe that Jesus, the Christ, died for our sins and was buried and rose again the third day, defeating death, all according to the Scriptures, thus sealing you till the day of redemption. This is the most important thing you can ever do. I believe this is probably one of the last warnings we're going to get before things go in such a direction that you're not going to have the mindset, the peace, the wherewithal to be able to establish yourself and build a foundation in Jesus Christ. Because on that rock alone will you be able to stand. Like I said, I'll leave a link to this. There's a lot more that can be discerned through this biblically, but I wanted to get this in front of people at least. God bless each and every one of you. Peace and grace to you. Many fish.
Yeesh. Ashley One Up says 90% of things that happen in real life would not be accepted if they were written in fiction. That does not imply it's all fake. Alright. I think we're done for the day. Thanks everyone for hanging out for Tinfoil Tuesday. Glad we had a bingo winner and I got to gift a sub randomly. That's fun. If you haven't already, make sure you give the channel a follow or a subscription if you're on YouTube. Like the stream. I will be back tomorrow, both for a regular stream and a patron and member-only stream. So if you want to be a part of that, make sure you join the Patreon at patreon.com/HannahReloaded or become a member on YouTube. Let's see who we're going to raid. Am I excited about the Starfield DLC? I am. I've enjoyed Starfield for what it is, especially since the mods have come out. It's not my favorite Bethesda game, and it's shallower than I'd like it to be, but I've had some fun with it. And it's on Game Pass, so it was free, which helps. Let's see who we're going to raid. Boop, 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 boop.
Thank you.
I always enjoy raiding VC archives. I'm a big fan of the VCR stuff. Y'all know that. You all have a good night too, everyone. I will see you tomorrow. Oh, real quick, Fenekagami says, can I just say I blame fundamentalism for the obsession with the occult being as bad as it is. The constant satanic panics throughout the centuries create the idea that there must be something to this stuff, otherwise why destroy it? Not to mention the hyper-sanitization of their lifestyle and constant fear-mongering strange things causes a fetishization similar to bigots with minorities. We did it! We read the message before the raid. Alright, have a good night, everyone. Love you, Mr. Blast. See the rest of you later. Hopefully tomorrow. Bye, everyone.